stuff.
Yeah, it went in mute automatically.
Hi guys, we are on another hangout today, and we have now Sylvie Jacobs from the Netherlands and Martijn de Graaf, I said it correctly, and we're going to be discussing the basic income and the welfare system in the Netherlands. Thank you guys for joining.
Okay, cool.
So, Martijn, let's begin with you. You were telling me that you have had this long experience being in the welfare system. Can you share us a little bit about your story and what are you witnessing now in terms of how the system is working?
Yeah, sure. So when I entered the welfare system, that was when I was about 20 years of age. I'm now 57. Back then it was very easy to get the welfare because I just went to the municipality and I said I don't have a job at the moment, and they said okay, we'll give you the money to live by, and it was a right. So it was totally a right to get money to live by, and it was also quite enough. It was not like a little bit, but it was okay. So that, and the only thing I had to do was wat is solliciteren, Sylvie, weet je het?
To apply for jobs.
Oh yeah, to apply for jobs. That was the only thing I had to do once a week. So I wrote to jobs once a week, and then I never got one because I didn't have a qualification for a job. And so that was quite easy, and that was for many years like that. And I did have some work in between, like 1.5 year or 1 whole year, and it was quite easy to get back into the welfare system again. I just had to tell that I didn't have a job, and I got the money, and it was okay. But in the past years, they have been changing a lot. The first change was that there were people involved who would try to reintegrate you into the job system. So every person got a coach, and the coach would tell them what to do to get more experience in jobs, how to write letters to apply for jobs, training, and so that was obliged to do that. And if you refuse to do that, they would take a percentage of your welfare, so like a penalty. Then a bit later on, they made it even more strict, the system, where people were invited to go to a place and do very stupid labor, like stickers on products and put products in boxes, no matter what your qualifications were. And you had to do that for like 3 months. And at the same time, you got the training for how to apply for a job. But there are not enough jobs. So people would, after 3 months, people would stay in those places and keep on doing the stupid jobs and keep on working there. And there was no perspective to get out of that. And so people got really depressed about the situation. And they were working, but they didn't have the same rights as a person with a decent job. It was like you had to work, but you didn't have the rights as a working person normally would have. And you didn't have any kind of wage. You just had the same amount of money. So in effect, it was. Wat is dwangarbeid in het Engels?
Forced labor.
Yeah, forced labor.
Okay.
Really like a slave.
Yes,
Which is no
labor,
different
they call it.
to how it happens now. I mean, slave wage is precisely that. You know, there is no way to get out of that circle of basic survival, in essence.
So
Exactly.
now we have not only wage slaves but also welfare slaves.
Oh, that's a cool name. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is exactly the situation that you are in, Sylvia, I think.
Yes, that's where I'm at for the past half year. Like the year before, my then partner got fired from his job. It was a construction business where like thousands and thousands, like 10,000 people were laid off as their portfolio was not big enough anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So then he got at the welfare, and so I broke up with him at December, and then I got into the minimum of the welfare.
Yeah.
And like now, half a year later, I have to discover that it's not to come by. Like something happens in my life, I cannot even replace my laptop, for instance, to apply for a job. No?
Exactly. Yes. The money is not sufficient.
So it's progressively decreasing. Yes.
Yeah.
What is the amount of money that we are talking about here for you guys in terms of, Martijn was speaking that before when he did apply early on it was sufficient, so how low is the income? I mean, why is it not good enough?
It's, I don't know if it's any lower than it was when you started, Martijn, but can you like...
When I started back
ratio?
then, that was then we had we didn't have the euro, so it was more than 1,000 gulden per month. So that would be now like more than 1,000 euros per month.
Okay.
But it is less, huh? Sylvie, what do you get at the moment?
Yes, it's inflated. Yes, I have 880. So with
exactly.
120 more, that's quite a difference. That's what we talked about.
Yes, and
also things are more expensive now, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Especially the rent. The rent has enormous.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you're on welfare, what happens with all of your basic services and your house rent and your basic electricity, everything else? How does that work? Do you have to use your welfare to pay for that as well?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's where we spend the welfare on, and that's then everything you can do basically. So some can something more, but I can't. Some maybe can buy some stuff. I can't anymore. Like I just had subscriptions to a magazine, like an informative magazine. I had to give that up. Like just simple stuff.
Yeah.
So you have the minimal covered. Like let's say you have for electricity, food. I mean, you don't even have an education, meaning paying some kind of university or anything like that. So it's just like basic survival.
Yeah. Yes, and that's now on the wage, because there are, like, the cuts are coming, so they have to get the cuts from the welfare system to pay for the cuts from the government. So, like 2014 and 15, they have decreased it, like all these cutting costs.
Yeah, because how much rent do you pay, Sylvie?
I pay like 470 now. 470. That was increased with 20 euros in the past year. So the increase per year now is increasing. Last year was 10. It's like 20. And because we have to save the building companies, they have to get money because they are not coming by. So we have to pay for them.
Yeah. So you pay more than half is going to the rent. More than half of your.
That's quite a lot. And what about the food? I mean, it's also quite expensive, right? Do you have any other access other than food and basic services? Like you have little to nothing left, or how does that go?
For now, yeah, but then that works because I don't spend anything else than on food. So, but when you have children, let's say having children in this situation, unimaginable how people do that.
Yeah.
But I just put all the money to food, you know.
Yeah.
What about yourself, Martijn? What is your situation in terms of going from all of these years through welfare and right now? What's your condition?
Well, at the moment I have been lucky to have some money from my parents. But if I did when I didn't get it, it was really difficult to live by the social grant. That is almost not enough money to live by. I can hardly buy clothes. I really have to look for clothes that I get from other people. And like food, I would like to eat organic food, but that is too expensive. It's impossible.
Exactly. The lifestyle is simply not possible, as we can see. You know?
No, it is.
Welfare doesn't allow that at all. And
No.
you guys are even lucky that you have welfare, because we were speaking also out of air that here in Mexico we have none of that.
No, really, that is So that is so crazy situation that they give the people the money to live by, but it is really not enough to really have a living. So you feel really limited in your possibilities. Most people are not able to travel anywhere when they are on welfare.
Or nor expand themselves, right? Because everyone
Exactly.
is kept in this very limited way of living, and how do people expect the economy to recover that way, right?
We can't spend money, so the money from the economy has to come from the people, and when there's mass unemployment and people in welfare, how will there come money in the economy?
Yeah. And now I read that like 740,000 people have problems paying the rent. So we have like 16 million inhabitants, and 740,000 have problems paying the rent.
That's quite a lot for the Netherlands. I was also speaking to you guys how we have this idea that the Netherlands was a rich country, etc. But right now you're coming up with the actual facts of how people are actually living in. And we know there's an entire media misinformation of, oh yeah, we're kind of stable. Yes, there's some crisis here and there.
Country.
But exactly.
Yes, for a few years ago we were the 10th richest country in the world. And even last year, there had been a record amount of money flowing through the country. It was like 830 billion euros. But the poverty was growing for the people. So the money doesn't get to the people. It is all taken from the people, and the money goes in the financial institutes around and in the corporations, and that's where the money goes, to the stock market. And
so from this perspective, the EU is actually counterproductive, right, for you guys, as having to pay for these governmental expenses of the EU and so forth?
Yeah, the EU doesn't exist for the people. It is to pave the way for the corporations, privatization, and for water privatization and electricity privatization. That's what the EU is doing.
Yes.
So if we look at, go ahead, Sylvie.
Yes, and then another interesting aspect was surfacing that, okay, when you go to have a job, like I have this job, and I came to the realization that I did not get paid for this job. You would guess you get it on top of the welfare, because like labor has to pay, and now I just realized there is no pay for the job. So how ridiculous is that? That I even can't get out of my misery through working. Like maybe okay, I have to work 40 hours, but when minimum wage is so low that you just barely topping the welfare. So where does this end? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting a comment from Cameron, and he's saying the wealthiest 10% of the population control 24.7% of the kingdoms, which is the Netherlands, while unemployment is low in the Netherlands at 3.5%. As many as 100,000 people have simply dropped out of the labor force. And he gives the link. We will also share that in terms of poverty and wealth in the Netherlands. And that is certainly so. Wealth, while the poorest 10% only control 2.9%.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So
what I would like to discuss right now is because we obviously have the solution for this. We're talking about the structural problem in terms of the money that is from the government that should go to the people is going to the EU. So how can we solve that in terms of the proposal of the basic living income guaranteed or living income guaranteed system?
Mm-hmm. Maybe you can tell about the new party that's coming, Sylvie?
Yes, for starters, we have in the end of October we have the erection of the new basic income party.
Okay.
And there we will go join forces with each other. This from different groups from the Netherlands that are trying to go participate to have this basic income party being launched. And there the structure of basic income will be provided for the people to vote on these program points. And
so what you guys will be doing is directly participating with integrating what we are currently busy with the structuring as living income guaranteed.
Yes, it's like making it program points visible and like a program for the party. What to say? Yes.
So they currently don't have any practical way on how to solve the problems, like let's say promoting the nationalization of the resources and stop giving all the money away to the EU and stuff like that.
No, not that exactly. They do have a building plan, so I will see how to amalgamate the two structures, building plans together, and where to show that there indeed has to be nationalizations of like transport and the oil and so on. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We can already see how if the people already only have the basics to get by on paying the basic services, that money that you guys give to the welfare would only give like a circle and go back to you to just keep paying the same thing, which enables you to live precisely.
Sure.
And within also the proposal of having the basic, the minimum wage be double the basic income, we can also then look at reactivating the economy, right? To not remain in that stagnation point.
Exactly, to get the money flowing, and indeed the proposal for the double the minimum income being double the basic income grant is really superb idea. So people have to adapt to that.
Precisely, and that adaptation, as we know, is never having the best interest of everyone in place. So that's kind of what we have to begin considering at all times, which is never considered in terms of economic situations right now or solutions, because it's always about getting the most money for just a few. I have a question from Anna, and she's saying, how does the history of the Netherlands' relationship with colonization and immigration affect people's support of a basic income system? This is kind of a broad situation, which maybe you guys would like to. We can take on the cultural aspect for the next chat because we already passed the 20. It's a very important question, which we know, and just to give an advance to people, we will be discussing about the cultural stigma that people have with regards to living on a welfare system and how this is being used by the system to promote fear within people, to promote this shame within people, to accept the fact that, I live in a welfare system, and how within that we are kind of saying, oh no, I cannot be granted with money to live. I should always work for it, and I should always, the sweat of your brow thing. It's ridiculous. Yes. So we will be discussing that on the next Sunday, if you guys agree.
Okay.
Yes, cool. I'd like that.
So for now, would you like to add anything up to this point in terms of your current situation, what you call out people to do right now? Because obviously we are a new way to express what people are actually going through in your country, not only in your country, but everywhere else in the world.
Yeah, at the moment you see that people are trying to find solutions like they take the leftovers from the supermarkets and bring it to central points and distribute it to the people that really can't buy any food. They are so poor. So that is, but the products that they get is not really nutritious, not at all. It's just some leftovers from a supermarket. So
like that toothpaste.
Yeah, and they start also here in the neighborhood. They start a vegetable. Wat is ruilen? Barter point where people can bring vegetables from their gardens and they exchange it amongst each other. And also they start a garden to grow some vegetables together because so many people are in poverty at the moment that all kinds of solutions are tried at the moment.
So those people that are poor right now, they don't get any form of welfare, or they do, but it's just not enough to continue having food throughout the month. Okay.
Not enough.
Yes.
No.
Like
and a lot of people
are being evicted.
Yeah. A lot of people get into debt. They have mortgages on their houses, and when the job goes away, they are in debt in no time.
Yes, that's the middle class now, yes.
And they lose everything. Yeah, it's terrible.
So it's the entire polarization from the very, very rich to the middle class disappearing, going down to poverty.
Yeah.
Yes, it is, yes.
A lot
that is quite a problem, and obviously everywhere else in the world we are seeing it. I was talking with Martijn off air. Mexico is also in quite a big problem because we depend a lot on the European economy, the American economy. So if they don't have money, if they have stagnation, we are fucked everywhere else in the world. And that's what we have to really understand, that this is not about me only, or us talking not only about Netherlands, but how that single economy affects the whole world, our entire relationship with one another as the economy, the global economy.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we can continue our chat next week at the same time. We will open up the cultural aspects and many more points that come up. Thanks a lot for joining us.
You too. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having us.
We got a reality check of what is going on. Very important. Thank you.
Yeah, cool.
And see you guys then next week. Have a good week. Bye-bye.
Thank you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.